Hey everyone, we're Group 6 and we are part of the Open Energy Dashboard, OED Security Enhancements and Testing Project. For a team introduction, I'm Miguel Santiago.
I am Calvin Chan.
I'm Cam Clendenin.
I'm Landon Wyville.
I'm Thomas Nigo.
I'm Rayanne Hamid.
And I'm Logan Williams.
Before we proceed any further, we wanted to put out a warning that the project we are working on or worked on is has active security problems, and so this project will not disclose the nature of these vulnerabilities, just to protect OED until the successful patches are made.
So here's the problem description of what we had to work on. Our goal was to mitigate the security concerns while ensuring the software remained functional and accessible. And to achieve this, we analyzed the pre-existing code database provided by OED, developed tests to validate the implemented security of the solutions, and provided a detailed report of the mitigation that we have done.
Our initial project approach was to review the penetration test report. This included executing test cases and the remediation section, also to evaluate test cases and their results, and prioritize deficiencies based on their severity.
We adjusted our scope partially to focus instead on the top 3 security issues that we viewed as the highest priority. To that end, we broke into 3 teams, 2 of 2 and 1 of 3, to work on each of these top 3 security issues to develop a remediation.
And what we learned from doing these fixes is that we gained some critical skills in code comprehension by being part of this larger code repo. And we learned on how to implement code solution into critical security vulnerabilities, and learn how to read the penetration test results and research various solutions for security vulnerabilities such as authorization, prompt annotations, and content security policies.
So I'd like to highlight the specific ways that contributed to patching the cross-site scripting vulnerability. So I first dove deep into the industry practices around input sanitization. I reviewed the OWASP guidelines on XSS prevention. I compared a couple different popular libraries, and we evaluated factors like the coverage of attack vectors, the performance impact, and the community support. And this research ensured that we chose a solution that was robust enough to neutralize everything from script tags to more obfuscated payloads without introducing undue latency. And then once the library was selected, I integrated it directly into our form handling routines, and that included refactoring some existing input parsing code, basically so we could funnel all user data through the sanitizer. We also wrote some new unit tests to verify that the inputs were stripped, which Thomas will tell you about.
Yes, so what I worked on was recreating some of the bugs, the bug test that the previous team last capstone has worked on, and the testing we used was integrated with the testing framework to then recreate the bug to then test to see if the patch is successful or not in displaying that the HTML injection code is visible before and after the test, which you'll see next in this next tech demo.
Yeah, so here's the video of our patch in action. So basically what's happening here, Thomas is running a test file in the console of the program in Docker. The vulnerable program takes in a file that has some potentially malicious HTML embedded. And after execution, you can see that the alert is returned to the plain text, which proves a potential XSS vulnerability. You can see that in the alert tag here. And then after the patch is implemented, you can see alert's been sanitized from the output, which proves the vulnerability no longer exists. Right here.
So for our group, me, Miguel, and Calvin, our problem was working on insufficient access controls. For my contributions, mainly consisted of securing the patched routes with proper access control, testing all the fixes to confirm that the vulnerabilities were resolved, and then documenting all of our remediation steps and all of our updates.
For my part, I went ahead and reviewed and secured assigned routes with proper access control. Then I tested the patches prior to fixing them and then after to see the changes, which confirmed the vulnerabilities were resolved. And then I completed documentation and testing steps.
For me, I also secured and patched the assigned routes with the proper access control, and tests to fix it and confirm the vulnerabilities were also resolved. And I also went ahead and documented the remediation with the steps and the updates.
Yeah, so for our problem, we saw that there was a missing content security policy and we wanted to change that. So personally, my contributions were researching, drafting the content security policy, and this spanned over a couple different languages such as JavaScript, TypeScript, and HTML. We had to research in like what tags to use, and then as well as in the later half on how to implement something called a nonce value, which just basically adds just a string of numbers to the whatever we are trying to allow to be displayed for the site. And so after we were able to work on that a decent amount, I also was able to draft the code documentation and just explain what I was writing, what code I was writing.
I did much of the same work as Cam. We worked very closely together on this. The reason we needed to implement a solution for adding the nonce value to each new inline style is because otherwise the CSP rule would block it. And the reason this requires the level of documentation it does is because this is an open source project. So each new addition needs to be made with this nonce in mind to keep the content security policy functional.
And so that is the end of our presentation, and we wanted to say a special thanks to Steve Huss-Letterman, Open Energy Dashboard, Paige Weiskirch, and Booth Su. Steve and was our mentor for Open Energy Dashboard, and we were very happy to have worked with him, as well as the Open Energy Dashboard nonprofit. Paige Weiskirch and Booth Su are our professors for the capstone class, and they were a great help in the presentation and design process of our project. And so we wanted to say a big thanks to all of them. And we also want to say thank you to you for watching. Thank you so much.